What's up? Thanks for clicking on this video. Today I'm going to list 5 running back sleepers for this upcoming fantasy football season. If you haven't already, please be sure to check out my quarterback sleeper video. It has the exact same format as this one. I put together a list of 5 running backs who I don't think are being talked about enough who could be legitimate starters for fantasy teams. The good thing about them being slept on though is that they should still be available later in the drafts, but I think have the chance to outperform many of the players drafted before them. With all of that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. Starting at number 5, I have Zack Charbonnet. When Kenneth Walker missed a few games last season, Zack Charbonnet had to step in and take over as the starting running back, and he did really well. I picked him up off of waivers mid-season in one of my leagues, and it was definitely a good decision because one of the games he started in, he had like 6 receptions, which is super good when you're playing in a PPR league. Anyways, the main reason I like Charbonnet for this upcoming season is because I think the Seahawks are going to go with more of a running back by committee approach as opposed to just giving Kenneth Walker 90% of the touches. I think it's going to be a bit more split, like 50-50 or 60-40. The Seahawks realized that Charbonnet was able to handle being the lead back, plus Kenneth Walker has dealt with injuries throughout his career, which showed up last season. So of course I don't want him to get hurt because he is so fun to watch when he is healthy, but injuries are definitely something you have to take into consideration when drafting for your fantasy team. And if Kenneth does end up missing some time, Charbonnet is going to get even more touches than he already is. And speaking of injuries, at number 4, I have Javonte Williams. This is definitely the riskiest guy I have on this list in terms of injury-prone players. But it's simple. If Javonte stays healthy all season, this could end up being a home run pick. He's going to be the starting running back, no question, and the Broncos are going to want to lean on the running game no matter who's at quarterback. Whether it's rookie Bo Nix, Jarrett Stidham, or Jets legend Zach Wilson, Denver is going to run the ball. Sean Payton doesn't trust any of those guys to throw the ball 40 times a game, and of the throws that he is going to ask them to make, a lot of them are going to be checkdowns. A lot of those checkdowns are going to be to the running back, and if he stays healthy, that running back is going to be Javonte Williams. Like I mentioned, he's going to be the lead back. Sean Payton wants to get him involved in the offense, and he's going to get quite a few targets in the receiving game. That's why I think Javonte is a great option for fantasy this year. At the end of the day, it's just all going to depend on his health. At number 3, I have Brian Robinson Jr. The Commanders did sign Austin Eckler in the offseason, but we've all seen the video of bro getting hawked down versus the Packers.
We haven't seen a running back moving like this on Lambeau Field since prime Eddie Lacy, man. Austin Eckler, it might be time to consider being a family man.
Eckler is just simply not a running back 1 anymore. Honestly, by midseason, I could easily see Eckler backing up Brian Robinson, not the other way around. Robinson got a good amount of touches last season, and he wasn't anything incredible, but he was solid. Now with Jaden Daniels at quarterback, defenses are going to have to worry about him a lot more than anybody else on their offense, so I think that's going to open up for the running backs to make a lot more plays. So if Brian Robinson does get the majority of the touches next season, which I'm expecting, I think he's going to be a real solid running back for fantasy or even a really good flex option. Next up at number 2, I have Tyjae Spears. Derrick Henry's gone, and while the Titans did sign Tony Pollard, it was evident last season that Tony Pollard is much better in a running back by committee than he is as the workhorse running back. And the other running back in that room is none other than Tyjae Spears. He started getting more touches towards the end of last season, but I honestly thought they should have been giving him the ball a lot more from the start. He also had 52 total receptions last season, which for a rookie running back backing up Derrick Henry, that's not bad at all. So if the Titans are smart, they'll split carries between Pollard and Spears, plus use Tyjae Spears in the passing game a lot like they did last season, which is going to result in a lot of PPR points. And yeah, that's why I'm super high on Tyjae for next fantasy season. And finally, at number 1, I have Zack Moss. I'm going to be completely honest. After the Texans signed, I guess technically traded for Joe Mixon, I had absolutely no idea who the Bengals starting running back was. So after checking a few days ago and seeing that it's Zack Moss, I actually really like the fit for him in Cincinnati's offense. I always thought that Zack Moss was pretty underrated when he was with the Colts, so now that he's with the Bengals, I think that people are going to really start to notice just how underrated he is. Obviously, the Bengals are a pass-first team, but that didn't stop Joe Mixon from being a top 10 fantasy running back over the past few seasons. The main reason for that is that the Bengals utilize their running backs in their passing game a ton, Plus, they love to give the ball to Joe Mixon when they were on the goal line. I think Zack Moss is perfectly capable of doing exactly what Mixon did in that offense. And if that does end up being the case, I think Zack Moss could be a fringe top 10 running back by the end of the fantasy football season. Alright, that's going to bring an end to my list of 5 sleeper running backs for fantasy football drafts. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps the channel out a ton. And feel free to leave a comment on if you agree or disagree with my list and what running backs you think are going a bit under the radar for fantasy. Anyways, I truly appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.